In this moment, as you stand here breathing, feeling the weight of your own existence, remember this: you are not defined by the noise around you. You are defined by the strength you cultivate within. Today, I want you to imagine a mountain, unshakable, silent, majestic. It does not bow to the wind. It does not defend itself against storms. It simply is, and yet every storm that crashes against it breaks itself upon the mountain's unwavering foundation. That mountain is the person you are capable of becoming. But here is the truth few dare to face. Most people never become that mountain. They surrender to doubts that were never theirs. They shrink themselves to fit expectations they never agreed to. They let the world shape them instead of shaping the world through their presence. Today this ends. 9% calm. Calm is not weakness. Calm is clarity. When the mind becomes still, the path ahead reveals itself. When you are calm, you are no longer reacting, you are choosing. Feel the breath rising and falling. That simple act is proof of life, and life refuses to be rushed. Cultivate the 9% calm, the calm that watches without fear, the calm that listens without judgment, the calm that acts without hesitation. In your calmness, you reclaim your power. Percent no compromise. There must be one thing in your life for which you do not compromise: a value, a principle, a dream, a promise you made to yourself long before the world tried to convince you otherwise. This 1% is your unbreakable core, the fire in you that does not flicker when others doubt you, the discipline that does not fade when comfort calls your name, the purpose that does not bend even when you stand alone. That 1% is your edge, the force that makes progress unavoidable. Together, they create the warrior within. Calm keeps you centered. No compromise keeps you unstoppable. When you combine the two, you walk through the world differently, not with arrogance but with certainty, not with force but with presence, not with fear but with inner freedom. And those who witness you will feel it. They will see a person who cannot be shaken, cannot be rushed, and cannot be controlled. So now listen carefully. Your life is waiting. Your potential is waiting. Your strength is waiting. But none of it will come to you unless you step toward it with conviction. This is your call to action. Stand up, straighten your spine, breathe in the calm, ignite the no compromise fire within you. From this day on, move through life with unbending clarity and unshakable intention. Don't let anyone, not doubt, not fear, not the past, not the opinions of others stop you from becoming who you are meant to be. Be calm, be relentless, and walk forward with the power of someone who refuses to be stopped. Calm is not the absence of pressure, it is the mastery of it. It is the quiet, deliberate awareness that keeps you anchored while the rest of the world moves in chaos. When everything around you speeds up, calm allows you to slow down internally, so your actions become precise instead of frantic. Many people misunderstand calmness as passiveness, as if being still means doing nothing. But calmness is the highest form of activity, an inner alignment that allows thoughts, intentions, and actions to move in the same direction. It is the foundation from which strength grows, because without calmness, strength becomes wild, unfocused, and easily broken. Calm is the moment right before you act, the breath before the leap, the pause that lets you see clearly. When your mind is calm, you are not pushed around by emotions that rise and fall like waves. Instead, you become like the ocean floor, steady, deep, and unaffected by the surface storm. In that stillness, your decisions sharpen. You begin to respond to life rather than react to it. Reaction is automatic. Response is deliberate. Reaction is survival. Response is mastery. Calmness is what transforms one into the other. To cultivate calmness, you must first understand that it is a skill, not a gift. It is trained through discipline, through choosing silence over noise, presence over distraction, and awareness over impulse. Every time you pause instead of rushing, breathe instead of panicking, observe instead of judging, you strengthen this inner state. You sharpen your emotional clarity by allowing space between stimulus and action. And in that space you find power. Calm is a shield that protects you from being consumed by situations that are not yours to carry. When others lose stability, your calm becomes the anchor. When the world demands urgency, your calm becomes the reminder that not all speed is progress. Calmness gives you the ability to listen, not just to others but to yourself, to your body, your intuition, your deeper understanding of what needs to be done. The answers you seek rarely arrive in moments of noise. They emerge in the quiet spaces, in the breaths you take when you finally allow yourself to be still. With calmness, you begin to see that life's challenges are not walls meant to stop you, but puzzles meant to be solved. Where others see obstacles, calmness lets you see patterns. Where others panic, calmness lets you plan. Where others rush blindly, calmness gives you the patience to wait for the right opening. And when the moment comes to move, you do so with certainty rather than doubt. Calmness also brings resilience. It keeps you from burning out, from being overwhelmed by pressure, from drowning in expectations. It teaches you endurance, the ability to stay centered even when life demands more from you than you feel ready to give. Calmness reminds you that clarity is stronger than chaos, and that a steady mind can overcome what a frantic one cannot. This is why calm must be cultivated every day. It is the quiet source of all effective action, the internal force that keeps you aligned, intentional, and unshakable in everything you pursue. There must be something within you that is not negotiable, something that stands firm no matter who questions it or how many obstacles rise in your way. This inner core is not loud, not boastful, and not something you announce to the world. It is a quiet conviction, a personal truth that anchors you when everything else tries to pull you off your path. The world will always offer temptation, distraction, comfort, and opinions, but the moment you begin to compromise the one thing that defines your direction, you begin to lose yourself piece by piece. That is why this part of you must remain untouched, unmoved, and unavailable for negotiation. Having an uncompromising principle does not mean being rigid in everything. It means being unbreakable in what truly matters. It is choosing to protect your purpose even when people do not understand it. It is refusing to shrink your standards just because others choose the easy road. It is standing for your values even when silence would be simpler. This 1% of no compromise becomes the flame inside you that does not flicker even when storms rise around it. Without it, your actions lose their sharpness, your decisions lose their direction, and your purpose becomes diluted. This uncompromising part of you often begins as a small whisper, an instinct, a calling, something you know you must pursue regardless of the difficulty. Over time, through challenges and resistance, it grows harder, stronger, more defined. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you strengthen it. Every time you hold your line instead of bending to pressure, you reinforce it. And every time you push forward when your doubts tell you to stop, you prove to yourself that this part of you is real, alive, and unbreakable. People may try to convince you to
uncompromise this part of yourself for convenience, for approval, for acceptance, or for temporary comfort. They may call you stubborn or intense. They may say you expect too much. But what they do not understand is that compromise in this area does not just change your choices, it changes your identity. When you give up what matters most, you don't simply alter your path, you disconnect from the very fire that drives you forward. Protecting that core is not selfish, it is essential to your
growth, your integrity, and your purpose. An uncompromising principle gives you direction when doubts blur your vision. It becomes your compass in moments when you feel lost or overwhelmed. It becomes the boundary that keeps you aligned, the promise you refuse to break, the standard you refuse to lower. It teaches you commitment, perseverance, and self-respect. It reminds you that excellence is not achieved through convenience but through consistency and determination. And when setbacks come, as they inevitably do, this principle becomes the force that pulls you back to your path. The world respects those who hold their ground, not because they are stubborn, but because they have chosen a purpose greater than their fear, greater than their comfort, and greater than the opinions around them. When you protect that 1%, your life gains direction, your actions gain meaning, and your spirit gains an intensity that cannot be imitated or replaced. When calm and uncompromising purpose come together, they create a force that is quiet yet unstoppable, subtle yet undeniable. Alone, each is powerful, but together they form a balance that transforms the way you move through the world. Calm without purpose can become passivity, a drifting along currents without direction. Purpose without calm can become recklessness, a headlong charge that burns out at the first obstacle. When the two merge, however, your presence becomes grounded, your actions deliberate, and your energy unstoppable. It is a synthesis of inner clarity and unwavering resolve that allows you to face life with both composure and ferocity. This combination changes how you perceive challenges. Where others see impossibility, you see opportunity. Where others feel overwhelmed, you feel measured and capable. The calmness inside you provides the ability to analyze, to observe, and to act with precision. The uncompromising part of you ensures that once a course is chosen, it is pursued relentlessly without hesitation, without deviation. Together they create a state of being in which fear loses its grip, doubt is weakened, and distractions are rendered powerless. You are no longer a passenger in your own life. You are the driver navigating through chaos with intentionality and strength. When the world tests you, and it will often present situations designed to confuse, to pressure, and to force compromise. In those moments, calm allows you to step back, breathe, and see clearly. You do not react to provocation with anger, nor do you follow fleeting impulses. You assess, you measure, you understand the forces around you, and only then do you move. And when you move, it is guided by the 1% of your being that refuses to compromise, that holds fast to principle and purpose. This combination ensures that every action you take is precise, meaningful, and effective, even under extreme pressure. Living in this state also transforms your relationships, interactions, and influence. People are drawn to those who are both composed and resolute because they project confidence without arrogance and strength without aggression. You become someone who inspires not by words alone but by presence. Calmness softens the intensity of your drive, making it approachable and sustainable, while the uncompromising core gives weight to your choices, ensuring that your influence is real, not superficial. You are recognized not for yielding to trends, fads, or popular opinion, but for your steadfast commitment and steady composure in the face of any challenge. This combination also enhances your adaptability. Calmness allows you to navigate unexpected changes without panic, while your uncompromising principle ensures that even in adaptation, your integrity and purpose remain intact. You can bend without breaking, pivot without losing your center, and respond without losing the core of who you are. Each challenge, each setback, each unexpected event becomes a testing ground where your calm and uncompromising force meet reality, proving again and again that you are more capable than you may have ever believed. When these qualities coexist, you are no longer defined by circumstances or the opinions of others. You define your circumstances, you define your life. The world will notice, it may challenge you, it may resist you, it may try to pull you into chaos or compromise, but your combined strength ensures that you remain steady, purposeful, and unstoppable. In every action, in every decision, in every moment of stillness and motion, you demonstrate a force that is both enduring and transformative, a presence that is both calm and uncompromising, a life lived with precision, power, and relentless intention. The call to action is not a suggestion, it is the natural extension of calm and uncompromising purpose into motion. Too often, people spend their lives preparing, planning, waiting, and hesitating, thinking that readiness is the same as progress. Readiness without action is a promise unfulfilled, a potential trapped inside itself. True mastery emerges not from thought alone but from decisive movement, from stepping into the space where uncertainty exists and claiming it with confidence. Action transforms intention into reality. It bridges the gap between what you envision and what you experience. Without action, even the calmest mind and the most steadfast principle remain inert, like a river that refuses to flow. Action requires courage, but not the kind that is loud or dramatic. It requires quiet courage, the courage to confront fear, doubt, and resistance without needing validation from others. It is the courage to move forward even when the outcome is unknown, to take the first step when the path is unclear, and to keep going when obstacles appear. Many people fail not because they lack skill or knowledge, but because they lack the willingness to act decisively. Hesitation is the enemy of growth. It allows opportunity to pass and strength to wane. Every moment of inaction is a moment where your potential diminishes, where your purpose waits while the world moves forward without you. Action also requires commitment. It is not enough to move once or twice, to make occasional efforts and hope they accumulate into success. True impact comes from sustained, relentless movement, guided by clarity and principle. Every step you take, every choice you make, must align with the calmness that sharpens your perception and the uncompromising core that defines your purpose. The actions you take must honor the 1% of yourself that refuses to settle, refuses to conform, and refuses to compromise. Each deliberate step strengthens your resolve, reinforces your presence, and shapes your reality in alignment with your intention. Another essential quality of action is adaptability. While action must be relentless, it must also be intelligent. The world is unpredictable, full of obstacles, detours, and unexpected changes. An action without awareness becomes forceful but blind, energy expended without direction. But when calm guides your perception and principle anchors your intent, your action becomes precise and effective. You move with the rhythm of life rather than against it, adjusting where necessary without losing the integrity of your path. You respond rather than react, which multiplies the impact of every decision and every effort. Finally, action is the proving ground of all inner work. Calmness, discipline, and uncompromising principle are powerful in theory, but their strength is revealed only when you step into the world and act. The world will challenge you. It will test the limits of your patience, the strength of your focus, and the depth of your commitment. It will attempt to pull you into doubt, distraction, and compromise. But action is your declaration that you are moving forward regardless, that nothing external can dictate the trajectory of your life. Action is where potential transformed into achievement, where dreams become tangible, and where your presence and power are fully realized. Every step, no matter how small, is a statement that you will not be stopped, that your calmness and principle will guide your path, and that your life will unfold according to your own unwavering will. Discipline is the invisible force that turns intention into reality, that converts calm awareness, uncompromising principle, and decisive action into a sustained way of living. It is the daily practice of aligning yourself with what matters most, even when the world tempts you with shortcuts, distractions, and excuses. Discipline is not about punishment or rigidity. It is about mastery over self, about training the mind, body, and spirit to follow a path that leads to growth, strength, and fulfillment. Without discipline, even the clearest purpose and the calmest mind can drift, diluted by external pressures or internal doubts. Discipline gives structure to potential, creating conditions in which greatness can emerge. The first aspect of discipline is consistency. Small actions, repeated day after day, build momentum that compounds into extraordinary results over time. It is not about dramatic gestures or grand declarations. It is about showing up when no one is watching, performing the work that seems mundane, and maintaining focus when excitement fades. Each choice to act with intention, each refusal to surrender to laziness or distraction strengthens the inner framework of your life. Discipline transforms these repeated choices into habits, and habits shape character, which ultimately shapes destiny. Discipline also demands patience. Progress is rarely linear, and the path toward mastery is full of obstacles, delays, and setbacks. Without patience, frustration creeps in, and even the most talented individuals falter. Discipline allows you to endure, to maintain effort even when the results are not immediately visible, and to trust that each step, taken with focus and integrity, contributes to the larger purpose. Patience is not passive waiting, it is active persistence, the ability to continue despite difficulty, guided by long-term vision rather than short-term satisfaction. Another dimension of discipline is accountability. It requires honesty with yourself, the courage to acknowledge mistakes, and the willingness to correct course without excuses. Discipline is not blind adherence to rules, it is conscious alignment with your highest standards, holding yourself responsible to the principles you have chosen not to compromise. This accountability strengthens character and sharpens judgment, ensuring that your actions remain deliberate, focused, and effective. It is the bridge between intention and action, between vision and reality. Discipline also cultivates resilience. Life will challenge you relentlessly, testing your limits, exposing weaknesses, and presenting situations that push you toward compromise. The disciplined individual withstands these pressures, not because life is easier, but because the mind has been trained to remain steady, the will to remain firm, and the body to endure. Discipline creates a foundation so strong that external forces cannot topple it. Every act of self-control, every choice to uphold standards, and every effort to maintain focus reinforces this foundation, building an inner fortress capable of withstanding adversity. Finally, discipline amplifies all other qualities: calm, uncompromising principle, decisive action, because it ensures they are consistently applied. Without discipline, even the sharpest clarity can waver, even the strongest purpose can falter, and even bold action can lose momentum. With discipline, each day becomes an opportunity to strengthen the mind, deepen the resolve, and advance purposefully toward your goals. Discipline transforms fleeting inspiration into lasting achievement, and it is the silent, relentless engine that powers a life of mastery, intention, and unshakable presence. Focus is the lens through which all effort, energy, and intention are concentrated, transforming scattered potential into unstoppable momentum. Without focus, even the most disciplined actions, the strongest principles, and the calmest mind can lose effectiveness, diffused across countless distractions and trivialities. Focus is the ability to direct attention with precision, to prioritize what truly matters, and to filter out the noise that constantly seeks to pull you away from your path. It is not mere concentration for brief moments, it is sustained, deliberate attention that aligns thought, emotion, and action toward a single objective. Focus turns vision into reality, because clarity alone is not enough. It is the relentless application of energy toward what is essential that creates results. The foundation of focus is awareness. You cannot focus on what you cannot see. The first step is understanding what truly matters, what aligns with courage to identify distractions, and the discipline to set aside what is unnecessary. Focus demands that you make choices about where to invest your energy, because every moment spent on what does not serve your purpose is a moment lost, a step away from your potential. Awareness allows you to distinguish between urgent demands that demand attention and trivial matters that only consume time and dilute effectiveness. Focus also requires elimination. In a world that bombards you with endless information, opinions, and obligations, the ability to say no is as critical as the ability to say yes. Saying no to distractions is not denial of opportunity, it is the act of protecting your energy for what is essential. Focus thrives in the absence of clutter, whether external or internal. Every distraction ignored, every irrelevant concern set aside, strengthens the neural pathways of attention and reinforces your ability to remain present in the pursuit of meaningful goals. Focus is strengthened by ritual and repetition. The mind, like a muscle, grows stronger with consistent use. Daily practices that reinforce concentration, whether through deliberate work, meditation, or disciplined routines, train the brain to resist temptation and sustain attention under pressure. When focus is habitual, it becomes effortless, allowing you to enter a state of flow where action and awareness merge seamlessly. In this state, productivity is magnified, decisions are sharper, and energy is preserved because effort is directed efficiently. Focus also demands resilience in the face of challenge. Life will constantly introduce interruptions, doubts, and pressures that seek to scatter your attention. The focused individual endures these forces, returns to the task at hand, and refuses to be derailed. Distractions will tempt, failures will occur, and obstacles will arise, but focus ensures that your trajectory remains toward the objective, that momentum is maintained, and that progress continues despite external resistance. Focus transforms obstacles into opportunities for refinement, because it allows you to see clearly what must be done and to act without hesitation. Ultimately, focus is the multiplier of all other strengths. Calm without focus can drift. Principle without focus can become rigid but ineffective. Action without focus can be scattered and wasted. Discipline without focus can follow rules blindly without impact. When focus is applied, every choice, every action, energy, and the force that converts potential into achievement, creating a life in which every moment is powerful, deliberate, and directed toward meaningful, uncompromising goals.